How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I got a couple more missions on, mainly sorting the main power substation thing out. Just randomly, before I sort of started doing tonight's missions, I wanted to see... I know there's a height limit on sand, so I was just wondering if, like, when you dump sand, it goes through the bridge, so it was going to land at the bottom. For one, when I even dump it, it doesn't even start appearing on the pile at the bottom for about 5 or 10 seconds after I poured it. I think that's just the way this game works. You can't really see the sand, but it seems to be kind of floating downwards in the game's mind, like some Matrix code, and then it registers it when it actually lands on the pile. However, it only got about this high, and after a while I just noticed like it wasn't building up anymore. It was slowly filtering down the sides, but it wasn't gaining any more height, and I'm kind of pretty used to it from filling the concrete slab facility on Sojourn, was it? It was a nice little loaf-trained jump off there to go and inspect it. Yeah, that's about as high as it got. I mean, there's probably a little bit more because there's like a river there as well. But yeah, in the scheme of things, I mean, it's weird because the height limit obviously is there, but if I poured sand at the side of the bridge where the land is kind of higher, I'd be able to pour sand on it. So I wish in general they'd just up the height limit of the sand in this game. That'd be quite nice. Or I suppose, if nothing else, have it like, I don't know, if the height limit is 5 meters of sand, make it 5 meters above, roughly speaking, the highest point on the map, because it's a bit like with the concrete slab facility in Sojourn. I couldn't quite fill the entire hole, that's what she said. But if I went and poured sand, I don't know, 10 meters to the left of the concrete slab facility, I'd be able to pour a big mound of sand. So the game has a height limit, but it's kind of a height limit based off the terrain, really. So you could drop down this hill, and there'd be a lower height limit, really, in the scheme of things. Like, you couldn't... It'd be difficult to cover an entire map in sand and make it completely smooth. You'd essentially end up with, like, broadly speaking, the shape of the map and the depth of it and all the rest of it just covered in a fat layer of sand. So yeah, it was. I mean, it's pretty random and pointless, but for science, I had to go and check it out. Yeah, first mission I'm doing, restore the communication network. Pretty simple, easy one to be honest. These, even though they've sat pretty high when I've got them strapped down and all the rest of it, they're not that heavy, so it's still pretty reasonable while you're driving along. Yeah, I had the mule kind of nearby anyway. After doing yesterday's missions, I was kind of over this end of the map anyway. And yeah, it's talking about unlocking the main power substation, but before I got stuck into that, I just figured, like, these are pretty nearby. Delivering it to, like, a radio tower on top of a hill, which the hill was looking a little bit awkward. It wasn't too bad in the end, but yeah, not exactly like a completely simple, easy drive either. I've got quite a way through this map, and I've still not unlocked another base yet. Still not got a construction zone thing or whatever, so I can't buy and sell anything so far. I appreciate someone let me know in the comments there's a couple of different locations that's got concrete slabs. One of them is where I got those 2 pumps from a couple of days ago, and then also the area where I grabbed those 4 like pipe sections. I think it was in yesterday's video. So eventually, like, sort of laziness at the minute, but I could go and grab them, and then that'll count as like unlocking the forest base. Needs 3 slabs, so I might do that tomorrow. I was just curious, like, unlocking this main power substation and that, see what that'd unlock. Just more missions, pretty much. Yeah, getting to here, just climbing up the hill, but there's loads of rocks in the way. But thankfully, I mean, the mule, whatever, it's got its own crane, so soon throw them out of the way. And then yeah, well, that was it for the stones anyway. But now I've noticed there's quite a few places on this map that's kind of got a chunk of the ground missing. I assume. See, if Kelly was here to explain, we'd already know the backstory. Was there an earthquake? Was there a hurricane? Did they actually have any different reasons for maps being damaged? Or was every one like a storm or a hurricane? To be fair, I'm taking the piss. I mean, that's probably pretty high on the list of reasons a map might be fucked and you need to send in a bit of help. But still, that's like, I suppose, saying it's a bit suspicious that lifeguards only rescue people from water. Someone should look into that. Yeah, so climbed up there. Eventually I just had to like wiggle a rock out of the way that was cock blocking me from climbing up here. And again, thankfully, these don't weigh a lot, so yeah, you can't take the piss, but you know what I mean. It's not just immediately flopping over the second I'm on unlevel terrain. And thankfully, all the little gouges in the ground, they were awkward, but not completely like, you know, make me stop and have to bring like a vehicle with sand or something and fill the gaps in. There is, I've unlocked a couple more sand quarries on this map, and another one of them unlocks for 0 fuel, which I'm not complaining about. It's a free sand quarry. Yeah, got this done. I don't even know, I can't remember now if it was a side mission or not, but either way, it didn't really seem to do anything other than like the mission itself. I don't think it unlocked anything else. It probably was a side mission. Oh, I don't know actually. God knows. I have to watch it back. Yeah, repair the main power substation. There's 3 areas that need clearing. And in the end, it's just knocking down trees. I brought the crane that, again, from yesterday's video, had roughly over in this direction. Yeah, because I wasn't even sure at the time. I was thinking, especially after clearing all this area and had to move out 40 pieces of scrap or whatever, I thought it might be rocks and stuff, and going up that road a minute ago and having to move the rocks out of the way. So, yeah, I was like, I'll bring a crane, because at least it'll help throw a load of stuff out of the way. But in the end, it was just knocking trees down. Which, to be fair, this vehicle isn't bad at knocking trees down anyway. I suppose there's a little test pilot. Yeah, I'm just kind of cutting through the forest to save following the proper roads around. And to be fair, this map, much more than a contamination, I would say, is not a bad candidate for laying a few more of my own roads. I've already done 1 or 2. I might do a couple more. I just got distracted by trying to fill the gorge thing under the bridge, and yeah, didn't get as far as I thought. To be fair, I was even surprised, like the sand did look pretty low, but it definitely wasn't piling up after that, so I'd reached some kind of height limit. Yeah, getting to here, like I say, once I got it, it's like, oh, it's just knocking a load of trees down. Obviously, I'm going to cut through most of it. Loaf wouldn't be bad at this one either. I did find though, I fired my crane legs out there to knock that little tree down, even though it's not part of what I've got to do. But at some point, like that tree to the left of me, I fired my crane legs out just to catch it, so it's not, you know, a revolutionary tip or anything, but yeah, every now and then I did use it several times whilst clearing all 3 different areas to kind of, if there's a tree I'm just going past slightly, then fire the crane legs out and try and catch it with that, and quite often it pulled the trees over without me having to sort of reverse and reline it up. Yeah, so that was zone 1 done. Next one, they're all pretty much like, just drive a little bit ahead. There's the next set of trees to kill. Again, I'll cut forward. It's the last tree of the second zone, almost hit, but the crane legs saved the day again. Then yeah, 3rd zone up here. Kill those last 2 trees. And then that unlocks a couple of missions. It kind of does the old bait and switch again, where it just now slips another mission into this mission. So repair the main power substation. It now becomes like a vehicle delivery thing, which is kind of just south of where I've cleared the objects. It wants me to take that cemetery. I was like, oh, what a goddamn professional. The loaf is already sat there. He's a genius. Yeah, there's no good ways per se. It was either going really far, like essentially over to the left hand side of the map and right round, but then I saw this road it wants me to build, obviously at some point, not strictly for this mission, but I figured it'd make it a hell of a lot easier. I'd possibly still have to go around that way with the semi-truck, and then I was eyeballing it, I might just try and cut through the forest again. But yeah, regardless, I was like, now's the perfect time, if that road existed, to use it. So I thought I may as well build it now, because Otherwise, I'm going to have to build it at some point, and then it might be useless. You know, I might have done half the game and that by the time I build it, and then don't really get to use it for anything else. When I'm driving down it, though, you can see there's a sort of different type of mud, like a super mud, but slippery as well. It almost behaves like ice does in SnowRunner, but obviously on top of that, you're also trying to wade through mud. It was, to be honest, a bit annoying. It's just really slow. Practically no grip. Obviously, this vehicle isn't actually terrible for it, but it kills half the power when you try and turn, so trying to turn in it is a bit annoying and laborious. So yeah, got the loaf, recovered all these vehicles. I decided to bring the the bowhead instead of a bicycle, because this thing's got tracks, so I thought that's got more chance of getting across some of that bad mud. I already knew now this wouldn't get the entire way. I knew that before I even set it off, because obviously you can see just up ahead there's a pipe literally cutting through the middle of the road, which I wouldn't hold my breath on one of these vehicles making it, and this thing gets stuck here anyway in this like super slippy mud. To be fair, the bicycle would have got stuck sooner than that, really, with its fat chin. So I cancelled the road, and it jumped the bowhead to the other side, because it was beyond halfway of tipping sand on the road. It then goes to the other side, so I thought, well, sod it, while I'm here, I'll get the other side done. Again, back getting stuck by the pipe, but I used the loaf, recalled a bicycle and a bridge layer, and honestly, I would just do it this way, and that's the way I was going to do it anyway. So here's like a little demo of, like, it's basically just reverse with the vehicle, so you can dump the sand, essentially lay in your own road as you're reversing, really. Yeah, another option you could do is bring the bridge layer, which I honestly would have just done the bicycle, but I thought, considering it's sort of trying to make a thing of the bridge layer in this DLC, yeah, there's an example. Obviously, it wasn't ever going to sit very flush, but I was assuming you could lay the bridge and then pour sand through it. But I mean, you can see at this point, I've got the sand so close either side, it's not really worth it. So then while I was here, I tried to drive over this, managed to wiggle a bit and get like over, but then now I sort of got stuck. It's that rear sort of post thing sticking out the back of this vehicle that was caught on the pipe. Started flinging the bridge around, eventually got loose, but then I was like, what a bastard. It's got yeah, the engine's now underwater, so I was like, well, scrap that idea then. Back to the bicycle, which is what I would have done anyway, because the bridge layer is just extra faff. That's nothing against that. I just mean in this very particular situation, all I was going to do, worst case, was lay the bridge and then, yeah, drive over it and pour sand anyway. But obviously the reversing method basically made it pointless anyway. It just would have been extra hassle to then move the bridge out the way so these vehicles can drive past. I drove this manually because, again, I gave up all hope of the AI ever successfully driving this thing from one end to the other. Drove this manually in the end as well, just because by that point I was like, either going to have to watch it drive itself or do it myself. Yeah, so that's that road done, which again is handy because there's not many good options to get from, I don't know, the top left-ish of the map. There's still a bit more cloud to uncover on the actual left-hand side of the map, but certainly from here, like the semi-truck came from that petrol station you can see just in the background. Yeah, this just seems like a better option. And then yeah, once I get here, I mean, Loaf goes wherever he likes, so that got me at least across that stupid mud. Well, more than anything, it was getting me across that pipe, because if you remember a couple of days ago when I used the Loaf to drag a semi-truck to a destination, which I think was near that petrol station, it's half the reason Loaf was kind of hanging around that area, I had to drag the semi-truck over the pipe, and I've not taken a vehicle there and dumped like a load of sand just to bury it so I can effectively create a bridge over there. Yeah, so at that point it was like I was either going to have to drag this semi-truck back over the pipe by kind of winching to it and literally dragging it over, and then even then, now you head into the right hand side of the map and then I'll have to drive like to the south of the map and then across the bottom of the map just to get to like the bottom left of the map really, and then bring it back up the map a bit to where it wants me to deliver it now. So cutting through the forest was a lot easier. I only fast forwarded this bit. I don't even know why I decided to go sort of right round that tree. I should have just gone left around a lot of them. Blame this tree. Price needs to be paid by the forest. The blood of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the tree of patriots and tyrants. Very famous quote by Jeff Thomason. Yeah, fast forward a little bit through it. Again, it saw me way marker. I was like, I've got to get it. OCD kicking in. A few more trees, have to pay the price. Yeah, so I've basically now made it to, like, you can see the rocks that are half blocking the road. That's where I brought the, in fact, you can see both sets of rocks. The mule thing, whatever, Trailblazer, is it? Yeah, the semi-truck was, well, I was going to say being rather awkward. I mean, to be fair, it's always rather awkward. Manhandling though from the loaf. I'm professional. Get that out of there. Even if, when it started tipping, it was like, ha, good. I actually prefer that. I mean, it works out nicely because, again, the side of the truck is pretty decently smooth versus, I think it was like, look at this semi-truck trailer, I think there's a spare wheel bolted underneath it, and I think that's what was catching on the rock. I mean, loaf, just keep it pinned, a bit of wiggling just for good measure, but generally speaking, if you could move the winch points better in this game, it would really, that's one thing I do like. Well, I mean, I'm going to go back to SnowRunner soon, but that I miss from SnowRunner is rescues were a lot more sane. I don't know, a lot more in your control. Like this game, I can go and get a different winch point on this vehicle, but it will just awkwardly make me reverse the back of my vehicle, like whether I just reverse them up the rocks to the left of the truck as we're looking. Yeah, it's doable, it's just more of a pain in the arse, and it's like, when you have plans and ways to get out of situations using your winch, you just want to be able to, like, there's specific winch points on vehicles that are handy. And then, yeah, it's looking good, and then when I turned the camera around, I was like, god damn it, there's a telegraph pole thing in the way, and then the bloody truck tipped over again. I don't even really know on what at this point. It wasn't particularly rough ground. Yeah, so I slowly dragged it ahead with a loaf. It was still moving, but it was just going pretty slow, and I was like, sod it. I just dragged it enough to get it enough past that telegraph pole. But yeah, reverse the loaf, give it a nudge, bit of encouragement. Like, right, that's pretty much. It's like, as a kid or something, when you see on a film, the parent has to grab the kid by the ear. It's when they hit you with your full government name. Like, you get here, Semolina Trucklington. Get your ass home. Yeah, so we had to, well, a few more trees up to pay the price. It's bound to be their fault. We're close. I've seen it about 100 metres away or whatever, for God knows how long's them bloody rocks. And, well, no, the rocks, it was this semi-truck tips more often than it should have done, really. And then I kind of forgot for a second. I recommend, and I still would recommend, don't drag the vehicle into the zone with a different vehicle. I would, or should have switched to the semi-truck and drove it in. But I detached about now. You see how it rolled forward a bit though? I think that was the difference. I was hoping, because obviously if I detached the truck completely not in the box, no my luck, it wouldn't even have the grip to start moving. But as soon as I switched to the semi-truck, it did that thing where it just says unknown, unknown. And then just after that, the frame rate dropped to about 10 FPS, so I quit and reloaded. However, it must have saved the game in the very small window that I got that semi-truck there and it said unknown, unknown, because when I reloaded the game, that was already delivered, the new missions were already unlocked. And yeah, Loaf's goddamn professional, he was already chilling there. So, touch wood, as far as I know, it's not glitched my game any more than it should have. Yeah, 41% now. I suppose, to be fair, the mission that I did didn't really chip away as much as I thought. I only did about 4% according to the game, which I did the communication network, cleared all those zones, built a road, and got the semi-truck delivered, so that's a bit of a piss take actually. It should have been more percentage increase than that really, but whatever. As long as we're getting our way to 100, that's all that matters. Yeah, that's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope it helps. Thanks for watching, get yourself a loaf because he's a whopper. I'll be back soon.